Recording in progress.
So welcome everyone to this session on identifying and manifesting your life purpose. So today I'm going to be talking about what life purpose means, at least for me. And I'm going to be sharing a step-by-step process on how to identify your purpose, how to connect with your purpose, your calling. I'm going to be sharing some practical tips. Like I said, there's going to be some space for self-reflection. I'm going to be inviting you to reflect on some questions that I will be sharing with you. And we're also going to do some more experiential exercises to really bring the energy to the present moment, to really connect with yourself. Because when it comes to purpose, it's all about alignment and it's all about being connected with ourselves, right? So we're going to do a lot of that today. So first things first, when I talk about purpose, I mean, I believe that everyone came here, we all came here with something to do, with a mission. And that's based on, that's why we have some unique skills and talents and traits so we can carry out this purpose. Now, by life purpose, I don't mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be something really big like saving the world or healing a lot of people or discovering something really important, a big invention. It doesn't need to be anything like that. It could be that. It could be that you came here to help others through your work. It could be that you came here to inspire others from the lessons you have learned, the challenges you have overcome. But it could also be that your purpose or your time here in this lifetime is about learning a lesson. And that could be it. It doesn't need to be something big. It could be work related. Very often, our purpose, our passion is something that we share through our work. But also, it doesn't need to be the case. Very often, we manifest our purpose through our career because our purpose is our calling, our passion, what we are really, really passionate about, what our heart desires is something that feels aligned, that feels true, that makes our heart sing, right? That's how I see purpose. And very often it makes sense to channel that or to manifest that through your career and make a living out of it. Because if it's something that you feel so called to do and so passionate about, and you have the skills to do it, and you have the desire and the strength to carry out, it makes sense that that's also your living. So I'm going to be focused on this session. I'm going to be giving a lot of examples, and I'm going to be focusing on how we can carry out our life purpose through our career and make a living out of it. But it doesn't need to be the case. It could also be that for you, your purpose, your calling, your passion, what makes your heart sing is something that you do on the side. Maybe you have a 9-to-5 job or a part-time job that gives you the stability and the income, and you manifest your purpose through a side hustle or volunteering work, or you start a charity, or maybe your purpose is about family life. Maybe you have lots of kids, and your purpose and what feels aligned and what your heart desires is to focus on the family life, and that's perfectly fine as well. But I know that a lot of people here, and these days in general, I see a lot of people struggling with the idea that doing work they love is not possible, that they have to choose between making money, having a proper job, and have the stability, the financial abundance. Is either that or doing something you love, but then you're going to struggle because it's difficult. And I see this block a lot in many people around me and many clients I have worked with. I included myself. I started my career in the corporate world, in consulting and banking. And then I completely changed my career into becoming a coach and therapist and healer. So it was a complete change. And I had to fight with a very deep belief, a very deep limiting belief that I had, that work couldn't be fun, that to make a lot of money, I would have to stay in a job that wasn't fulfilling because it had to be within a big company. I didn't believe that I could do it on my own. So I had a lot of limiting beliefs around the idea of making money for myself, working on my own. I had been programmed all my life to work for a big company, and I did very well because I had been programmed to do so. But when it came to start doing my own thing, I came across so many blocks and so many limiting beliefs. And it was about just kind of like reprogramming myself, reprogramming my subconscious mind, reprogramming my beliefs, changing my mindset. And I'm going to talk a lot more about this in detail in the session. But what I want to say to start this session with is that if I could do it, anyone can do it. The message that I want to send today for anyone out there, anyone who's listening here today or who will be joining for the recording, is that it's totally possible to do work that feels aligned, to do work that resonates with you, to do work that makes your heart sing. And it's perfectly possible to make a decent and comfortable living out of it. I'm nothing special. I'm not special in that sense. I definitely wasn't born with an entrepreneur mindset. It definitely wasn't easy for me. I had been programmed to just find security and a big income. So I had to reinvent myself completely. And when I discovered my calling or my purpose, which is helping people break free from the conditioning of the past and heal themselves so they can reclaim their power and create confidently the life of joy and purpose that they came here to live, that we all came here to live. And when I realized my purpose, I had to go through a process of self-discovery. That's not what I had been programmed for. I wasn't born with this. I wasn't encouraged to do anything like that. So also, wherever you are in your journey right now, whether you're at a very early stage, just trying to figure out what makes your heart sing, just trying to figure out what your purpose is, what's your passion, what gets you out of bed, or whether you're at a later stage and you have figured that out already, but you're just struggling to implement that in your life, whether that's fitting it around another job or making a career out of your purpose, there will be lots of insights for you. And it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. It is totally possible. It is totally possible. And I'm an example of that. And if I can make it, anyone can do it, because I'm nothing special. Like I said, I wasn't born with a predisposition or programming to follow my purpose and work for myself. I was programmed. My education, my upbringing was all about find a job in the corporate world to make money, so you have security, so you have freedom, so you have stability, and that's what I had been programmed for. So know that it is totally possible. And in this session, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to be sharing a step-by-step process. Also, something I want to say about purpose, and some people think that it's kind of a goal or something that we have to achieve, and either we make it or we don't. And if we do, then great, and now we can die in peace and all is good. And if not, we failed and we might have to try again. I see living on purpose or following your purpose as a way of living, as a lifestyle, more than just a goal. And yeah, that might manifest as some goals. For example, I have goals around what I want to do with my business, how many people I want to help, if I want to do it through one-on-one sessions or online workshops or whatever that is. But for me, it's not about, okay, so I said I wanted to help 1,000 people break free from the conditioning of the past and be truly empowered to create the life of their dreams, and either I make it or I don't. No, because if I help 3 people in that journey, doesn't mean that I haven't fulfilled my purpose. Well, not really, because maybe I only had to impact those 3 people. Maybe that was my mission. Maybe that's what I came here to do. And sometimes when we focus too much on the goals, we can make our life very miserable, and following up purpose becomes like something that we really struggle to do, something that we dread doing, something that loses the joy, and it loses the, we lose the point. We completely miss the point of living on purpose. Living on purpose is not about achieving goals. Living on purpose, at least for me, is about being aligned, living in alignment. Living on purpose, or following your purpose, or manifesting your purpose, is about doing what you do, what you think, your actions. They are aligned with your heart's desire. They are aligned with your soul's message, or what your soul is calling you to do, or your heart is calling you to do. And we will explore a bit more of this in a second. But that's, for me, that's what following our purpose means. Being in alignment. And when you do something, and you know what you do, your actions, how you spend your time in any given day feels aligned with your values, and you don't have to choose. For example, when I was working in the corporate world, I feel completely out of alignment, because my values and my true self and what my heart was telling me to do was something completely different to what I was doing on my day-to-day basis. So my day-to-day life was one thing, and then my purpose was a dream, a vision. And it was something that I had to choose between the two, right? I had to choose, okay, either I stay here in this job and continue to make a lot of money and then I'm safe, or if I follow my purpose, then I'm going to have problems, I'm going to struggle, and it's going to be a life of struggling and suffering. So I was completely out of alignment. And I think that's how we need to live if we want to feel really, really fulfilled. And the reason why I'm giving this session, and I gave a similar one at the end of last year, is because the fulfillment that comes from living in alignment and from living your purpose can't compare to any other source of joy, or any other experience, the fulfillment that comes from following your purpose, and the motivation that it gives you, and from living aligned with your values, with your true essence, not with what others expect you to be, but with who you truly are. And living in that alignment, the fulfillment that comes from that just can't compare. And now that I have experienced that, I couldn't go back to just doing work because I could make more money, or because it's easier, or it's more convenient. I couldn't go back to that. I mean, of course, if I were desperate, in a situation, yeah, I would do it. But out of choice, I couldn't go back to it, because once that fulfillment and that realization, everything falls into place. And the source of fulfillment that comes from having that inner peace, that balance, that alignment, that waking up in the morning knowing that you're following your path, that knowing that if, God forbid, I were to die tomorrow, I'm doing what I was supposed to be doing, and I wouldn't regret a minute of what I have been doing. I wouldn't feel like I have wasted my time. If I had died when I was still working the corporate world, I would have felt like I have wasted my entire life sitting in a great office putting numbers in a screen. And that's what gives you a lot of motivation to keep going, and that's what gives you that energy and that a driver to get out of bed and to stay focused. So, and I want that for you, for everyone who's here. If you're here, it's because you resonate with the idea of living on purpose. Whatever you are in your journey, you resonate with that. And I want to help you feel that fulfillment and that alignment, because it's truly joyful and blissful. So this is all very well and sounds very beautiful. I hear you say, but how do I do it? How do I do it, right? So there are three main stages about finding and manifesting your purpose. So the first stage is clarity. And for this, you might be very clear already on your purpose and your values and who you are. And that's great. But I know that for some people, this stage is really difficult. For me, it was difficult. It took me a long time, because you have to go through a very in-depth self-discovery process to really identify your purpose. And sometimes you have to remove a lot of layers. For me, I had to take off a lot of layers from all the programming that I had been exposed to. And very often what happens is that we go on in life and we live our life based on the programming we have been exposed to. We live our life based on what other people expect from us, whether that's parents, school, society, friends, partners, you know. So they project their desires onto us, or their needs onto us, and we take on a lot of that. And sometimes, you know, you're 30, 40, 50, 80, it doesn't matter what age, but at some point in your life, you stop, or something happens that forces you to stop, whether that's being made redundant, an accident, an injury or disease, a breakup, I don't know. Sometimes we are forced to stop and reflect. And then you're like, what am I doing with my life? Where am I really going with this? All my life, I've felt like I've been living based on someone else's expectations. And I'm sure someone here has experienced that before, or has gone through that moment of, but am I really living my life? The life I want to live? Or am I living just in a hamster wheel based on what I have been programmed to do, or what I've been told to do, or what I think that I am expected to do? And if you're at that point, that's a great point to be in. It's not easy, but it's a great point to be in, because that's where everything gets started. That's where the change starts to happen. That's your soul telling you, hey, that path is not for you. That path is not for you. So how do you know, once you're forced to stop, or you decide voluntarily? Hopefully you decided to stop voluntarily and reflect about your purpose voluntarily, and not out of life forcing you to do so. So what can you do to connect with yourself? I always recommend to get clarity and to build this vision of your purpose, of your big mission, your big goals, your dreams, right? We need to let go of that conditioning, of that programming, and you have to go deep in the process of self-discovery and start getting to know your true self, because very often we don't know our true self. We have put on so many layers, so many layers, that we lose touch with who we truly are. And when it comes to purpose or calling or mission, I'm going to share some questions with you here, so you can reflect on them, and you can also write them down, because I'm going to leave a bit of time, but obviously this is an interactive session, so you might want to spend a bit longer reflecting properly on these questions. But I'm going to invite you, first of all, to close your eyes maybe for a few moments and take a few deep breaths, just to bring yourself to a space of stillness. So I'm going to invite you to take a few deep breaths into the heart, in and out through the heart, making each breath a bit deeper and a bit longer. slowly slowing down the rhythm of your breath. Breathing deeply and slowly. And bringing your awareness to your heart from the head, from the place of thinking, doing, achieving, shifting that awareness from that space, from the head to the heart, to a place of being, of feeling, to a place of being present. And I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness to the present moment, to this moment, to this second, to this session, not to what's happening tomorrow, not thinking about what happened yesterday, bringing your awareness to the present moment. And for that, focus on the breath. And you can continue to do that throughout the session and throughout the questions that I'm going to be sharing with you. If you have pen and paper handy, you can do some journaling around the questions that I'm going to share. Maybe you just want to write them down and do the self-reflection later. Or maybe you just want to close your eyes and receive the questions and see what comes up to your awareness. So that's entirely up to you. You choose what feels better for you. So the questions are, what challenges have you overcome so far? Very often our purpose, what we feel called to do, or what we feel passionate about, is helping people solve a problem that we have solved ourselves, or helping people overcome a challenge that we have overcome ourselves. A lot of great healers go into that field out of having experienced many health problems or an important disease and not having found the answers in conventional medicine and having to develop their own modalities, for example. What I do in my work and helping people break free from the conditioning of the past and healing the past and help them reclaim their power so they can be in control of their lives and be the creators of their lives, is something that I have struggled with and a journey that I have been through myself. So what challenges have you overcome? What lessons have you learned in your life? What will be the main lessons you have learned in your life so far? Because again, sometimes our purpose, what we came here to share, is a lesson we have learned. And sometimes maybe we have learned it the hard way, not the pleasant way, but it doesn't matter. Any lessons you learned. And maybe that's what you feel passionate about. Maybe that's what you came here to share. And what's your passion? What makes your heart sing? What could you do or talk about for hours? For example, artists or creative people, when they're in their zone, when they're creating, when they're painting, drawing, making jewelry, clothes, whatever that is, they're in the element, they're in their flow, they're in their zone, they're completely in it. And they lose track of time. They could be doing that for hours and hours and hours. Or sometimes when you're really passionate about a topic, and you go to dinner with your friends and all you can talk about is this amazing healing modality or this, yoga practice or whatever it is. So that sometimes tells you a lot about your purpose. What can you talk about for hours and hours and hours? What could you do for hours and lose track of time? Where are you in your element, in your flow, in the zone? Also, I'm going to invite you to reflect on what are your unique talents, skills, inner treasures, positive traits, all those things that people say, oh my God, you're so great at this. You're perfect for this. And you can do this exercise. You can go and ask a few people, some of your close friends, people who have known you for a long time, and ask them to describe you. What would be the main 3 or 5 positive traits that you see in me? And this is really great because sometimes you see that that many different people say very similar things about you, and it's like, oh, okay, and that can give you a lot of insights about what people value in you and what people perceive about positive in you, because sometimes we can be very critical, and lack of confidence is again one of the main stoppers when it comes to living on purpose. So yeah, so you might want to make a long list, of all your talents, your skills, your strengths, the lessons you've learned, the challenges you've overcome, all those qualities that you bring to the table when you work with others, to your friendships, to your relationships. And I'm going to invite you to reflect on one question that I really love when it comes to thinking about purpose, which is, if you had all the money in the world, and by all the money in the world, I mean all the money in the world, unlimited resources, never-ending source of income, thousands and thousands of pounds every month at your disposal, and the more you spend, the more money you receive, what would you do with your life if you had all the money in the world? If you didn't have to worry about going to work to make money, if you didn't have to worry about paying the bills or canceling the debt or whatever that is, if you had all the resources in the world, what would you be doing with your time? And again, this can give us a lot of insights around what our heart really desires. And I'm not saying that whatever is coming up for you now, because maybe you say, oh, I will leave everything behind and I will go to the other side of the world and start a charity and start, and maybe that's not realistic to do today or tomorrow in this moment for you at this point in time in your life. So I'm not saying that whatever comes to your awareness, answering that question, that is what you have to do. It will give you an insight, because like I was saying at the beginning, very, very often I see that one of the biggest blocks when it comes to people finding and manifesting their purpose and living on purpose and living aligned with their soul is, yeah, but I have to go to work and I don't have time for that. Yeah, but I need to pay the bills. Yeah, but I need to feed the kids. Yeah, but I need to pay the mortgage. Therefore, I can't, right? That this or either this or. That's a big, 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 big block. So just reflect on that. I'm not saying you have to leave everything behind and do this, but it will give you an idea. And maybe there is a way in which you could achieve something similar or do something similar that would fit your current lifestyle. So yeah. So if you had all the money in the world, unlimited resources, what would you be doing with your time? What would you choose to do? Not to make a living. What would you be choosing to do? Just because it makes your heart sing, just because it makes you feel good, just because you feel called to do it. Another question is, what legacy would you like to leave behind? What will bring you fulfillment at the end of your life? And one of the things that made me realize that I had to take action when I was working in the corporate world is that I had been working in consulting and banking for like 12 or 13 years of my life, and I didn't see a way out of it. I thought, that's it. This is my life. I'm just going to have to wait until I'm 60 or 65 or God knows, maybe 70, until I can retire. And then maybe I will enjoy my life. Then maybe I will be at peace and, have some time for me to enjoy and travel the world. And it terrified me. That thought terrified me. That vision of being 80 years old and looking back on what I had done with my life and seeing that all I had done was sitting in an office, moving numbers around in a spreadsheet, chasing people in specific project to achieve nothing that no one cared about. It terrified me. And that's when I realized that I had to take action, because I didn't want to get to that point. I kind of like saw that path in front of me, and I thought, no, I'm not going there. There has to be an alternative path for me. And that's what made me take action, thinking, okay, God forbid if I were to die tomorrow, how would I feel about my life? How would I feel about what I have done with my life? And again, it's not about achievements, because I'm not a millionaire. I haven't helped thousands of people yet. I will, not yet. But the people that I have helped, I know that brings me so much fulfillment. And it's not about the achievements. It's not about if the business was successful. It's about, was I living in alignment? And I always try, I'm not saying that, yes, 100% every second of my life I live in alignment. No, I will be lying. It wouldn't be fair to say that. But I try that to be the case, because I want to live this lifetime not feeling like I've been the most successful, or that I made a lot of money or big numbers, that I, like ego things, that I helped a lot of people. I want to feel that I lived in alignment. And that vision or that idea kind of helped me, or keeps me motivated to make sure that that I'm in alignment. So that's a bit of kind of like self-discovery. Maybe you are familiar with this, and maybe you know already what you want to do, what your skills are, what your calling is, what makes your heart sing. Now, the next step is, Liam is asking a great question. Why did you start a job you don't like? Yeah, that's a very good question. That's the thing, that very often, for me, it was because of my upbringing and my conditioning and my programming. I was making decisions or living my life in autopilot, with programs in my subconscious mind that weren't mine. They were mine because at the end of the day, I was the one who made the decision to start working in consulting and banking. No one forced me to do so. I decided to apply for those jobs, but it was based on the programming I had been exposed to. And for me, ever since I was a child, my parents got divorced at a very early age, and my mom was working also in banking. My dad was also working in banking. So there you go, programming from all sides. But the main thing is that because they got divorced, for my mom, having a job, having that security, having that financial stability, for her, that was freedom. So the fact that, because many people at that time, many women would have wanted to divorce their partners, but they couldn't because they were financially dependent. So for her, having that job meant freedom, meant that she could make the decision to not stay with a person she didn't love anymore, because she didn't have to depend on it. And for me, what I learned from that is money equals freedom. And for me, that set a precedent and a role model, right? Oh wow, look, she's so successful, and and that's what I want. I want a job for me, where I don't have to depend on anyone, and be independent and make my money and buy whatever I want, and all these things. But the thing is that the programming came through, yeah, but you have to do it in a big company. So all my upbringing was all about, oh, this person has a permanent role in this wonderful company. Oh my God. And that was like, for my grandparents, I remember that was like, we can die in peace because we know that you have a permanent job. And that was like the dream, right? So I absorbed that programming. I absorbed that. I could have made another decision, but I didn't. But later in life, when I questioned myself, but why am I doing this? Why am I here? If I really don't enjoy this, if I dread going to work every Monday, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I realized that's why. And I was like, okay, so now we're gonna have to start, like removing some programming, some layers, some expectations, and start thinking about who I truly am. And I know that that this is the case for a lot of people. Sometimes we get kind of caught in a path, a current, that is not going the direction we chose, or the way we'd like, and then you have to swim out of the current and find another stream that will take you where you want to be. So yeah, that was my personal experience. I wish I had made a different decision, but at the same point, that brought me lessons that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. So I guess it had to be that way. So yeah. So once you have generally saying absolutely so much is programming. Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much everything we do, positive and negative, empowering or limiting, is programming, and decisions we have made about ourselves, about others, about the world, decisions that we make as we go through different experiences in life. So a big part of living on purpose is removing that programming to make sure that we are connected to, that we are in touch or in connection with who we truly are, and not other people's expectations, and not the programming we have been exposed to. So once you have that vision and that clarity, and I would recommend that you take some time on this, because this is a key part of the process. And once you have a big vision on how living on purpose would look like for you, now you need a tangible strategy or action plan to bring it into reality. And what I mean by this is, for example, when I work with someone, I have a one-on-one coaching program called Reclaim Your Career. And I will sit with the person, and once we build this vision, we don't think about the how. So the first step, when you're building your vision and you're connecting with your calling, your passion, your purpose, you're not thinking about the how. You're just building that vision, and you're just saying it. Right, so this is what I want to share with the world. This is what I came here to do. This is my calling. This is what I'm passionate about. Great. Now we need to find a way for that to materialize. Because if we don't, and by a way to materialize, I mean, that could be a career path that makes sense for you, where you can implement all these skills, your passion, where you are aligned. It could be, like I said before, maybe it's not through your career. It could be, maybe you enjoy the work you do, but you're not in resonance with your company's values. So it's about finding a similar job with a company whose values you're aligned with. It could be starting your own business. For a lot of people, creative people, artists, healers, for many people, it's going to be very difficult to find the 9-to-5 payroll job, if that makes sense. So that was my case, for example. So I decided to start my own business. A lot of people decide to work from themselves. For other people, living on purpose might be, okay, I have this daytime job that, not to bother about it, but it's fine. And that gives me stability. That gives me my source of income. And then I'm going to dedicate all my free time, or my weekend, or one a week, or one day a week, like, it doesn't need to be whatever feels right for you, really. But I'm just going to start a side hustle, or I'm not even going to try to monetize it, because I have a job that gives me income. So I can start a charity, or I can do volunteering work, or I can start a blog, or I can start a YouTube channel sharing my experiences with no expectations of making any money from it. A lot of people I work with want to make their purpose their career, and they want to make money from it. They want it to be their job. And we work on that. What career path, so what format would work for you, would fit within your lifestyle. So again, I'm going to invite you to think about different paths, to think about like different paths in front of you, or different alternatives in front of you. And maybe you're running your business already, maybe you're working for yourself already, but you're struggling a bit with the making money side of it. So be creative in that way, and maybe you're just trying to do it in a way like everyone else is doing it, or you're trying to copy someone, and it's not working for you because it's not aligned with you, with your strengths, or with your skills. So if you are working for yourself, the possibilities are endless. You can decide. That's one of the great things about it. It has advantages and disadvantages, but you also need to think, would it work for me? Because working for yourself is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. It requires so much mindset work and discipline and commitment. It's not for everyone. Same as other people would never or have never even considered getting a job in the company because it's not for them, you know? So it's not about what has worked for others. It's not about what's right or what's wrong. It's about what resonates with you. So think about a few different options through which you could manifest your purpose and bring this into reality. Because a vision, a dream, an energy or a feeling that we connect to in a meditation is great, but without actions, without clear strategy, it stays a dream in the, a vision in the ether, in the field. It stays a potential, right? So let's say if you can visualize it, if you can connect with it, it means you can make it happen. It's there somewhere in the field. But for it to not just be a potential and become a reality, you need to be grounded and you need to take the actions and you need to have the clarity around how you're going to make it happen. And trust me, when there is a what and a why, there is a how. There is always a how. When you have a clear vision and you know why you're doing it, why you want to do it, and that is aligned, there will always be a way to do it. There will always be a how. And you might want to experiment and try different things. For me, I remember this journey was a bit crazy because there were so many random ideas coming to me because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I just knew that the corporate world was not for me, but I had no idea what I wanted to do instead. So I kind of had a vision of what I wanted to do, of the skills I had, but I had no idea how to bring it to reality. And I was doing a lot of dancing at the moment, so I considered becoming a dance teacher. I considered being a Spanish teacher, and that maybe I could travel around the world. I consider, getting a different job and maybe more like human resources related or more like things like that. There were so many alternatives, so many possible career paths in front of me, and it took me a while to find one that clicked. Eventually I studied my master's degree in counseling. That's the first thing I did with no expectations. And sometimes that's the thing, that you just need to set an intention and ask for guidance. And when you have a vision and you set an intention, wonderful things start to happen. Because I had never in my entire life, I had never considered becoming a coach or a healer or a therapist, nothing like that. And eventually I came across this, identifying my skills, and I thought, well, people come to me for advice. People are always telling me that I give really good advice, and they always come to me with their problems. And hi, Elena, lovely to have you here. Welcome. So what can I do with it? And I came across like coaching and counseling, and I thought, well, I could try that, because even if I don't make a career out of it, it's something that is going to be good for me. That's the great thing about the personal development and healing world, that all those courses, that even if you don't use them as a profession, they're so good because you work on yourself. And it was only through doing that and trying that I felt really called to do it. I didn't know why, but I felt really, really, really drawn to that course. And yeah, it was great. I loved it. It changed my life completely. I healed so many things. And I thought, wow, I want this for everyone. This is what I want to do. This is so amazing. This is why I want to help people achieve this journey of transformation and healing. And then I was talking about my master's degree in counseling, the first thing I did when I was still working in banking, and how I changed my career and how I started to discover my purpose. So I was saying that it can take some time. It is a process. right? And then through that, I didn't just stay a counselor, because I knew that there was so much to learn. So I continued to do more training, and I discovered the world of energy healing, and then I started learning more modalities, more disciplines. So it was also not like, okay, this is it. I'm still evolving, and I'm still, I'm clear on where I'm going, but I'm also open to learning more things, or maybe eventually working with specific group of people. So my point is, don't despair if you have no idea of the what, the why, or the how. Just set an intention for guidance, and you will see how synchronicities start to happen. And maybe you come across a course that sounds really interesting. Maybe you have a conversation with someone that makes a suggestion out of nowhere, and you're like, where did that come from? But it is really important to not stay only in the vision or the dream, because then, yeah, like I said, it's going to remain a potential, but to make it tangible. Because sometimes we can get lost in the spiritual side of it, and and the vision and the energy, but if we're not grounded and we're not taking the action, and we don't have a clear strategy. And by clear strategy, I don't mean that you have to figure out every single step between now and the next 5 years. No, but some action, some steps, some next steps, and commit to it, so it doesn't remain just a potential. Now, here is where we can become our worst enemies. And the third stage, so first of all, clarity, creating that vision, the what, the why. Second stage, action plan, strategy, bringing it into reality. Different career paths if you want to make a career out of your purpose. Side hustle, volunteering work, whatever that is for you, but the tangible options that you have in front of you. And the third stage, but probably the most important step, is to make sure that your subconscious mind, that your mindset supports that vision, and that you are aligned, that your thoughts and your belief system is aligned with that vision. Because it doesn't matter how wonderful your vision is, and you can work with the best business coach in the world and work with, and have the clearest strategy, the detailed step by step with deadlines, everything. Like, you have everything worked out, the what, the why, the how, the next steps. You have it figured out. If your mindset, if you have a subconscious belief that it's saying you're not good enough for that, who do you think you are to follow that dream? That's never going to happen for you. You don't deserve it. If you have any of these gems running in your subconscious mind, it's never going to happen. Those blocks are the most important ones to identify and to clear. Because sometimes what happens is that lack of clarity doesn't come from a lack of clarity. It comes from a block, or from an inner critic, or from a part of yourself that is scared of doing it, that doesn't have the confidence, that doesn't have the self-belief or the trust. And sometimes we can get very blocked and very confused. No, but I don't know what. And that sometimes is not lack of clarity, it's lack of confidence or lack of belief. Or sometimes the how. Hi, Deborah, welcome. Sometimes the how, again, is not about not knowing what to do or how to do it. It's a part of yourself that is blocking that process. It's like, no, I can't let her figure it out, because if she figures it out, she will want to do it, and this is scary, and this is risky, and this goes against this program, and yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah, 108 meditators. 112 now, actually. It changed since you said it. So that's a lot of people here who want to live on purpose. And that's wonderful. That's really, really wonderful. So yeah, in my experience, this is the most important thing: the mindset, the beliefs. And like I said, if your belief system is not supporting that vision, it's never gonna come into reality. Because what we have in our subconscious mind, whether we are aware of it or not, is what runs the show for us. And if you have to believe that you're not good enough, or who do you think you are, that's never going to happen for you, it is not possible, it might work for others but not for you. If that's a deep program in your subconscious mind, all you're going to see around is evidence that confirms that you are not good enough, that that's never going to happen for you. That yeah, it's something that other people can dream of, but not you. And I've experienced this to be so true. And I struggle with this so much. If you knew the battles, the internal battles I've had to fight about this, because my programming was money and success come from a job in a big company, end of. There was no other way. There was no other way. One equals the other. I was like, okay. And that worked really well for me. I was making so much money and, and getting promotions out of nowhere. I didn't even have to think about it too much. It just came because it was my programming. It was deep in my subconscious mind. I was told that I was going to be great at it. I was. And when I changed and started working for myself, I thought, well, if I've been really successful doing something that I don't care about, now that I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, I'm going to smash it. I'm going to absolutely smash it. Okay, great. So I decided to quit my job and started my own business, and no clients, very few clients. I never had a period of no clients or not making money at all, but definitely way less than I wanted to make, way less than enough to pay my bills. So I had to use the first year or so, or maybe around 2 years, I had to use savings to pay for the rent because I wasn't making enough money. I was like, why is this happening? I've always been so successful. This doesn't make any sense to me. And I had to go through and review all that programming and all those beliefs. And yeah, I had lots of beliefs about working for myself being really scary, not being safe for me. So imagine my different parts of me and different programs within me are screaming, this is not safe, you're crazy, we're gonna starve to death. So there was a part of me that really wanted to do it, that had identified her purpose and was like super excited about it, going out and writing articles and making content and, trying to get clients. And that God knows how many other parts of myself battling that because they were scared, because they didn't feel safe, because they didn't believe they could do it. And how that was manifesting and showing up for me was I would attract, so the conscious part of me that wanted to do it would go out and get a lot of opportunities, but then the subconscious, the other parts of me that were so scared and didn't feel safe will block it. So I might meet a very interesting contact or someone who was interested in working with me, but then the email would never reach. They would decide to go ahead, but then last minute they would change their mind. Maybe a door would open for me with a great opportunity, but then it was canceled out of nowhere. Like weird things started to happen. So they were like kind of like opportunities. It was like my inner battle was reflecting in my reality. That conflict. I'm looking for opportunities. They're appearing, but also they're kind of disappearing and dissolving back into the ether. So if there are parts of yourself that don't support, that are not aligned with that vision, That's never going to happen. That's the most important work to do when it comes to purpose. Identifying those parts of ourselves and integrating them and having a conversation. Maybe they need a bit of healing. Maybe they need, maybe they've made a decision about, I don't know, your needs not being important, or your dreams not being important, or you're not smart enough, or whatever the belief is. And it's about having an inner dialogue with that part of yourself and integrating it and helping them make a different decision. Because sometimes we lack confidence because we've been bullied at school, or our parents. We had abusive parents and they never encourage us to, with any positive words, or with love or appreciation. And then we build the beliefs and we install all those programs that we're not smart enough, that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve this, or that we are not important, right? So we make this decision based on what we have experienced in life, or what we have seen our role models do and behave. And this is not good or bad. This is not bad parts of ourselves or negative parts of ourselves. It's just decisions we make at a certain point. So it's about having a chat with those parts of yourself, maybe going to certain moments and helping them make a more empowering decision. It's not about changing what happened or what we went through. It's about changing the decision or changing the belief, the underlying belief. And once you do that work, then the magic starts to happen. So I'm going to guide you through a short exercise. I'm going to first have a look at the comments in the chat. Louise is saying, this is speaking to me so much. Thank you. Currently have cut down my work week to 3-4 days to try to find my true purpose, to find it. To try to find my purpose. Fantastic. So I did a similar thing when I was working in the corporate world. I remember that I did my master's degree in counseling, and then I started coaching, and then I started with the energy healing. And there was a time where I moved from full-time to part-time, 3 days a week, where I was kind of figuring out what to do. So yeah. Good afternoon, Dean. Welcome. Thank you. Right. Okay. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat, or if you're facing any particular challenge, any particular questions, please let me know, because I'm always happy to answer your questions or to point you to specific resources. But I would like to guide you first through a short exercise. Let me drink some water first, because I've been talking nonstop and my throat is a bit like, hello. Too much talking. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, and bring your awareness again to your heart, from the head to the heart space. And I want you to bring to your awareness your vision, your big vision, your purpose. Maybe you haven't figured out a lot of the details yet. That's fine. Anything that comes to mind. That vision of living in alignment, of living on purpose. If you're very clear around the details, yeah, perfect. Make the vision as detailed as possible, as intense, bright as possible. Maybe for you, it's not even a vision or an image, it's just a feeling, it's just a sensation. And that's brilliant. And just be with it, just be aware of it. And imagine what it would be like to wake up with this feeling, with these positive emotions, knowing your purpose, manifesting your purpose. The fulfillment it would bring, the satisfaction, the joy. And really connect to it like you were living that life now. Like really step into that feeling into that energy or into that vision, into that image. Really step into it, become one with it. And see yourself living that life now, in this moment. And I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness to the body and to see if, as you connected with this vision or this energy, if there are any parts of the body that tensed up, if there are any parts of the body or any energies in the body that don't feel quite right, maybe a bit of resistance. If any thoughts came to mind that wouldn't support that vision. If any, yes, but came up for you. If any, no way, stop dreaming, never gonna happen. If any of those gems came up for you. We're just observing, we're not judging. We're just bringing awareness to any resistance that might show up when you connect with that vision. Whether that's with the images, with the feelings, with the sensations, with the energy. And if something came up for you, if any resistance in whatever format that was, whether that's the body tensing up, any weird energies in the body or any blocks, any areas that you might feel a bit tense or block. Maybe you can even describe it with words, like a black ball of something in the throat or a fiery red ball of anxiety in the stomach. I don't know. Maybe you can give it qualities. Maybe it's a thought, maybe it's a part of yourself that is saying, no, that's not safe. No, that's not for you. No, we can't. No, that's scary. Whatever that is. And I just want you to be with it and track where it comes from. And you can have a dialogue with this part of your body, with this sensation, with this part of yourself, with this thought. You can have a conversation with them and ask them where that comes from. When did you make that decision? When did that thought start? When did that block or emotion start? When did you feel it for the first time? When have you felt it before? Because very often it will be something familiar. It probably won't be something new. And again, just observing. See if there is anything that you can do today to start letting go of that. And you might not be ready to let go of it completely because it might be a part of you that is trying to protect yourself, and that's fine. You might need to do more work on it. That's perfectly fine. But see if there is anything you can do to make it a bit less intense. And if it's a black ball of energy in the throat, maybe you can bring in some white light or a different color light or energy to soothe it out. If it's fear or anxiety, breathe deeply into it. Bring a different color to transmute it. If it's a part of yourself, especially if it's a very young part of yourself, maybe they just need some love. Maybe you can have a short dialogue with them and see what they need. Why did they make the decision? Because sometimes they just need to be listened to and understood, reassured. Most of the time, they just need a bit of reassurance that you're an adult now, that you're in charge, that there's nothing to fear. Whatever they need to hear. You might want to make a note on whatever came up for you and work on it later. Because obviously this is a in a group setting, there is only a level of depth that we can go into, because everyone here is different and there will be different things coming up for you. But just see something, like one little thing that you can do to bring it a bit, to make it a bit less intense, to calm it down. And let's finish by bringing the awareness back to the vision, ending with a positive note and really stepping into your vision again, the vision you have for your purpose. That might be an image that you're seeing, or like a clip or of a movie that you're watching. It might be just a knowing, a sensation. It might be an energy that you can tune into and really, really, really step into it, becoming one with it, and teach your body how it feels to live your purpose now. Teach your body, your mind, emotionally, how it feels. And feel free to continue to practice this for a bit longer if you fancy. Or when you're ready, you can bring your awareness to the physical body, to the present moment, and to this session, and open your eyes and meet me back in the screen. And I would love to hear your experiences, your insights, if anything came up for you. Also, if you have any questions or anything you need that maybe you could do with a bit of support or more specific resources. And I wanted to guide you through this exercise because sometimes it happens that your vision is completely in resonance with, or maybe the other way around, your energy, your vibration, your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, your emotions, everything is aligned with the vision of your purpose. And then everything flows. When that happens, it can be magical because opportunities come out of nowhere. Everything seems to be flowing. You don't need to have to, you don't need to struggle. You don't need to have to be putting a lot of effort into it. You're aligned. Your vibration, your energy, your frequency, your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, your beliefs, your mindset, everything supports that vision. And then it happens like this. But very often, there will be something, there will be a bit of resistance, a negative thought, a belief that kicks in, a part of ourselves that is not quite fully on board. And I've found that this is one of the major blocks to living on purpose. And a lot of the work I do in when I work in the one-on-one career coaching program, Reclaim Your Career, people think that it's going to be a lot of me telling them what to do and and building the plan and the strategy. And yeah, there is some of it, because like I said before, it's necessary: clarity, your vision, an action plan, strategy. But if the mindset, if your energy doesn't support it, if it's not aligned, it's never going to happen. So we do a lot of work around making sure that your energy, your mindset, your beliefs, everything is aligned with that vision, so it can happen like this, quickly, in an effective way, and in a joyful way. Because sometimes we think, I had that belief that, that doing work that I love was going to be an absolute struggle, and that it was going to be so difficult. And that's sometimes a belief we have that it doesn't serve us. So a lot of those beliefs have to go. And it doesn't need to be difficult. It doesn't need to be a struggle. It can be joyful. Not that it's going to come while you're sitting on the sofa or while you're in Bali drinking a mojito. You'll have to put in the work, that's for sure. But it doesn't need to be a struggle. It doesn't need to drain your energy. It doesn't need to be difficult when you're aligned with it. So that was a lot for today's session. 1 hour and 11 minutes so far. I don't know if anyone was here from the very beginning. If someone made it all the way from the very beginning till now, thank you so much for bearing with me and for being here. And I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear your questions. I would love to hear your insights. You know, we did that exercise and the journaling questions at the beginning. Like if anything came up for you, any specific questions that you might have, or just where you are in your journey, maybe you have an insight to share with others and inspire others. So yeah, let me know. Lana is saying so good. Thank you. Glad you liked it. Glad you liked it. So in terms of how I can support you if you wanted to go deeper in this, every Monday I run here in Insight Timer at 1:30 p.m. UK, sorry, so the time that this one started. I run a tapping, emotional freedom technique or tapping session. So this is where we tap on different parts of the body, well, to clear energetic blocks. So if anything came up for you that is blocking your purpose, bring it to those Monday sessions. Next Monday, I cover a different topic every Monday. Next Monday, one is on confidence. So anything related to confidence, following your purpose, bring it to that session and we're gonna tap it out. We always do some rounds on clearing, releasing energetic blocks. And we always do a few rounds with more like positive affirmations. So that's on Mondays. And I also have a course called Step Into Your Power with Confidence and Joy here in Insight Timer as well. It's a 7-day course. Yeah, I think it's a 7-day course. And that's going to take you in a journey of self-discovery to help you get clear on your vision. It's going to take you to different layers of healing and reprogramming your subconscious mind. So it has some cool exercises about bringing limiting beliefs to the surface and uncovering hidden blocks and how to clear them, how to heal them. It has one of the lessons is a long healing meditation to integrate or to bring back and integrate those parts of ourselves that might be blocking the process. And it has some lessons again on building confidence and developing that empowering mindset. So that's one that I would definitely recommend for this. And yeah, I have lots of recorded tracks and meditations here on Insight Timer. And of course I do the one-on-one work, and if anyone's interested, just feel free, drop me a message, feel free to, or if you have any questions or anything you're struggling with, I'm always happy to point you to specific resources. So Janelle is asking, what are the best ways to assist with mindset? I've done EMDR, but just curious what else. Yeah, for me, what I do is the tapping thing, because that clears energetic blocks a lot, negative thoughts, old beliefs, that clears it a lot, is super effective. Because by talking about it, there's only so much transformation that we can achieve, right? And matrix imprinting, which is an addition to emotional freedom technique, is a discipline that I use so much in my one-on-one work. And it's about talking to those parts of ourselves that made certain decisions that are not very empowering or that are not supporting the vision. So it's about going to where we decided, for example, that we were not good enough, that our needs are not important, that we are not smart enough, that it's not safe to express ourselves. You know, all those beliefs that we make, is going back to those moments and helping that part of ourselves make a different decision, make a more empowering decision, giving them what they need, let them do what they wanted to do if there is something that they would have liked to say or do. And I do this through a lot of visualization and kind of like inner dialogue visualization type of work, and that works wonders in the subconscious mind, because imagery is the language of the subconscious mind. So when you see yourself experiencing that and rewriting your story, I love to talk about rewriting your story. The story, not the event. We can't change what happened and what we went through, but what we can change is the story that lives within us, the self-narrative, right? And when you change that in that way, the subconscious mind really integrates and rewires itself with these more positive or empowering decisions, beliefs, emotions. And I find that out of all the disciplines and therapeutic and energetic work that I've done, tapping and matrix imprinting, I would say, is the most powerful one, the one I use the most in my work. Then I'm saying I'm inspired to recreate my cafe that closed 3 years ago. It was stressful and physically hard, but it still feels like my purpose. Feels like past experience is my block to recreate this vision. Yeah, sure. So with this work, for example, it will be around going to that time, because I'm sure that left an imprint, right? And a lot of the work I do, parts of ourselves will take us to very early memories, because it's when we make the most important decisions. Between 0 and 7 years old, we're like sponges. So it's when we're making all these decisions and absorbing all this programming and creating all these subconscious beliefs. But it doesn't necessarily have to come from that. Sometimes that happened 1 year ago, left a big imprint in ourselves. So yes, I would definitely recommend you go to that part of yourself 3 years ago when the cafe closed and the imprint it left. And maybe, I don't know, I'm sure there was disappointment and and sadness and grief and, oh, maybe it's not going to happen again, fear of trying again. So go and talk to that 3 years ago you, and help her see that that's something that happened doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. And help her make a new decision, or kind of reframe the story or rewrite the story so you can move on. And if that's the decision, and if that feels that like your purpose, so to make sure that that's not getting in the way. Jenny saying, hi Veronica, I slept in today and joined late. Would really appreciate if you could share the journal prompts again. So the journal prompts were around clarity. So they were, what challenges have you overcome and what lessons you have learned? Because very often our purpose comes from challenges we have faced. And, like I said, a lot of healers go into the healing world because they have experienced either disease or an accident or something that they couldn't find any healing for, and they develop their own modalities. So challenges you've overcome, lessons you've learned. What is your passion? What makes your heart sing? What could you talk about for hours? Those things that when we go out for dinner with friends and we can just stop talking about a topic because you can just talk about it for hours and you're so passionate about it. Making a list of your unique talents, skills, strengths, positive traits, even asking people around you to see what they value in you. That can give you a lot of insights. One of the main questions, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do with your time? And again, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to quit everything to do it, but it can give you a lot of insights. If you had all the money in the world, unlimited resources, thousands of pounds coming every week to your bank account, what would you do? How will you spend your time? And what legacy would you like to leave behind? So if you see yourself at the end of your life, what will bring you fulfillment? What will make you feel, oh, this is what I'm leaving behind. This is how I lived my life. What will bring you that end of life fulfillment? I'm learning to reconnect with my intuition. All the right things I chose in life I did because I listened to it. But in the last few years, I lost connection to it because all I would hear from my mind are words from my parents growing up. Stop being so naive. Yeah. Nobody on earth likes their job. Even if you love something, you'll hate it as much as your job. Work isn't supposed to be enjoyable. Yeah. And she's saying, this is awesome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I talked about this at the beginning because someone asked me. I was talking about my experience working in the corporate world and really hating it and knowing that it wasn't for me. And someone asked, well, why did you choose a job that you don't like? And I was like, oh, that's a very good question. And it was because of all the programming I had been exposed to and all the old beliefs that were running my subconscious mind, and they were similar, very, very similar to yours. Nobody on earth likes their job. Job work is work. Just get on with it, do your job, make your money, and that's it. And you can have a bit of fun the weekends. That's what life is about, right? I also had that belief, and then when I started questioning, oh, but maybe I can do something that I enjoy, that I am passionate about, all these negative thoughts also, well, not negative, but I found them limiting. No, you have to choose either money or passion, either money or fun. That's not going to work for you. This is only for dreamers. Don't be silly. I also had those thoughts and those beliefs, and that's an inner battle that I had to, many inner battles that I had to fight. And even this day, like I was saying before, even to this day, it's very easy to slip into all ways of thinking, all ways of feeling and behaving, the autopilot. So following your purpose and doing work you're passionate about, especially when you work for yourself, requires a lot of mindset work and being really, 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 really aligned. And that's why that step for me is one of the most important, one of the most important ones, because if that's not aligned, doesn't matter how clear your vision is and how clear and how good your strategy is, it's going to be really, really difficult if your mindset, if your inner world is not aligned. So yeah, I hear you, my love. I hear you. I totally hear you. Okay, my loves. So thank you everyone for being here. I would love to invite you to follow my profile on Insight Timer, so you get notified of future live sessions like this one. Like I said, I run one on every Monday for tapping and emotional freedom technique. And this month, well, February, I have a special series of live sessions on relationships, to tune into the collective energy of love and Valentine's Day and flowers and chocolates with, everything with the shape of the heart and all these things that we're going to be seeing throughout February. So we're going to tune into that collective energy of love and work on healing our relationships and to focus. So the focus is going to be on attracting healthy relationships. So that will apply to romantic relationships, but also to other relationships. And that will be on Thursdays, I think, around this time. So if you follow my profile, you will be notified of all these events and new content. And I want to thank you, every one of you, for being here, your questions, your comments, your insights, for your positive feedback, when you leave me good reviews, for your donations. They're all really welcome and much appreciated. And if you have any ideas of topics that you would like me to cover, like I said, just reach out to me, or if you have any questions, I'm always happy to read your messages and point you to specific resources, or to cover topic suggestions in future live sessions. So yeah. Okay, my loves. So thank you all once again, and have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. And I'll see you very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.